Good morning and welcome to Firebrand Recovery today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us. Today I'm talking about breaking free from toxic relationships. And that's our subject today is breaking free from those relationships that we find ourselves in that are toxic. And we'll start by, first of all, deciding what's toxic. What does that look like? How can I tell? Right? In a relationship, and again, this is just my own opinion. It's not relationship advice. But in my own opinion, if you have to walk around on eggshells with your partner, worrying about how to avoid conflict for the day. Good morning, Shirley. Thank you for joining us. If you have to constantly be worried about how your partner will respond to everyday interactions with you, that's not healthy, right? If you find yourselves in arguments more frequently than normal, let's just touch a little bit on what's normal, right? Everybody has disagreements. Everybody argues about something in their relationships, right? But it's how we start to deal with that argument and what our actions and our behaviors are moving forward once we have the argument, what that looks like, right? If we hold on to resentment from that, and what's resentment? Well, that's where we feel that somebody has done something to us to injure us or wronged us, right? And we hold on to that emotion of feeling wronged. And then what happens is we start to build some anger towards that other person, and we start to think illogically. And then we start to act out in a manner that is not appropriate, right? By holding on to that argument and putting it in our backpack for ammunition. Good morning, Fort Freddy. Good morning, Noah. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like and subscribe if you want the videos coming moving forward. Today we're talking about toxic relationships and how we can try to break free those toxic relationships today. And what toxic relationships really look like. They kind of hold you back from growing as a person. They hold you back from... Good morning, Rob. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us and joining in. If you want all of the newest updates from this channel, please like and subscribe. Toxic relationships, again, so if you try to recognize the patterns of behavior that are in your particular relationship. Again, this is not relationship advice. This is just for us to kind of take a look at and be aware of. If you find that you are in disagreements too often, what's too often? Well, let's go there for a minute. Again, everybody has disagreements, right? But it's how we deal with those disagreements or how frequent they are, right? If you have a disagreement every day, let's just say 5 times a day for the next 25 days, that's probably going to be too much, right? That's a habit. That's not healthy, right? But if you have one argument, let's just say once a day for the next 5 days, I would consider that pretty routine. Now, maybe that's extreme too. Maybe you'll have an argument once every 2 or 3 days. It all depends on the dynamic in the relationship. Yes, Landon, Jesus does love you, and thank you for tuning in. So if you think that your relationship is weighing you down, is keeping you from growing personally, from trying to avoid conflict with the other person, trying to walk around or tiptoe or walk on eggshells around their outbursts, those things aren't healthy. If you cannot communicate with one another without getting into an argument, there may be some troubles there. Communication is one of the essential keys of a successful relationship. And toxic relationships don't have good communication, right? Those are broken, right? That's what makes them toxic. That's what makes it unhealthy, is the dysfunction, but it functions at the same time. So it's kind of a weird dynamic where the relationship kind of the toxicity of the relationship takes over your everyday routine so that you don't notice. Again, this is a slow progress. It doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't start with the maximum amount of arguments. And yes, relationships can be with others other than partners. It can be with family. It can be with friends. It can be with people you meet every day. But the ones that typically we can usually gauge on toxicity are the ones that are close to us. And those are our family. Those are our partners. Those are our loved ones. And sometimes they can be toxic. And sometimes those hurtful things that happen in those toxic relationships can really affect our mental health and well-being, and can cause some very strong emotions, right? Which, if you're similar to me, an emotional trigger then starts to crave to use. And again, depending on if you're in recovery or starting recovery or later on in successive recovery, that craving still happens, right? Thankfully, I'm in a place, and I'm at a place where drugs and alcohol isn't my first thought, but junk food is, sugar is. Those are my first thoughts. Those are my first ideas when it comes to that craving and that ritual of solving that emotional trigger for my addiction cycle. And most of it is based on unreasonable thoughts and ideas that I have, not that the other person has done, or not that somebody else has done to me. It's what I'm doing to me. It's what's going through my mind. It's what's there for me. And again, breaking free from the toxic relationship for me, again, is all about communication to me. It is about finding what works best. Right? Now, let's just say the other person that's in the relationship is not healthy themselves, right? Because that is possible too. We have loved ones that aren't emotionally well, mentally well. Maybe they're stuck in their addiction, and they're hurting, and they're doing all of the things that come with substance use and destruction, right? Sometimes that toxicity can affect us where we have a hard time separating ourselves or letting go of the person or walking away from the relationship for a season, that to allow them to hurt or allow them to heal or allow them to process their own recovery or their own coping mechanisms or their own way, or get the help that they need, however that works, or whatever they need to do. But if I want to break free from toxic relationship and do that, I have to do what's best for me. I have to take care of me. I have to do what is best for my well-being. So I have to start to love myself. I have to start to love what I look like, what I think, right? And capture those thoughts and ideas and my actions and my behaviors, and really work on, am I doing the best job that I can for today, for right now? And then assessing, did I do the right thing? Or could I have done something different? Or could I have done something better? And that's kind of the way that I look at things, the way that I see it, and the way that it works for me. And again, I fail at this regularly, and I don't always get it right. And I'm not trying to come from that perspective at all. But what I want is progress. And I look forward to progress every day, and progressing through this, right? Because I've been in toxic relationships. I've had toxic relationships. I was the person in a relationship that was toxic. But I've worked hard to redefine who I am, how I behave, how I act with others and with myself, so that I can no longer be toxic, so that I don't have to be toxic to other people. So I think that that's what I would like to focus on today. That's what I would like the message to be today. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe to the videos. Come back to the channel. Become a member of Firebrand Recovery Community. The link is in the description. Please, please, please come on out and join us. I love to see everybody joining in. Thank you so much for joining us. Continue to watch.